There is a specific kind of person history keeps producing. Not the soldier who kills because someone told him to, not the murderer who kills because something inside him broke. This is the third kind, the one who kills carefully, the one who studies a man's habits for weeks before touching him, who knows what time he takes his coffee and which door he uses, and who then walks up and does it and feels roughly nothing. We're going to look at 4 of them today. This is a list about temperature, about how cold a human being can get. The Hashshashin. We start in Persia in the 11th century with a man named Hassani Saba. Hassan is a religious scholar with a problem that is mostly arithmetic. He leads a small Ismaili sect surrounded by empires that want it dead. He cannot field an army. He does not have one. He never will. What he has instead is a fortress called Alamut in the Elburz Mountains, which he takes in 1090 reportedly without a fight, by converting the people inside it. And from that fortress, he builds the most efficient killing organization of the medieval world. His logic is brutally simple, and it is the reason we still talk about him. An army costs a fortune and gets other people killed in enormous numbers. But a nation is not really run by an army. It is run by about 12 men, so do not fight the army. Remove the 12 men. The operatives he trains are called the Fidai, meaning those who sacrifice themselves. And that name is not decoration. It is a job description. The method is always the same, and it is not stealth. The Fidai does not poison a cup or shoot from a window. He infiltrates a court, sometimes spending years as a servant or a stable hand, learning the household, becoming invisible, becoming furniture. And then one day, in public, in daylight, in front of the entire court, he walks up to his target and stabs him with a dagger. Then he stands there and waits to be killed. That last part is the whole point, and it is worth sitting with. Escape was never in the plan. Escape would have ruined the effect, because what Hassan was selling was not death. Anyone can sell death. He was selling the certainty that it could reach anyone, anywhere, in front of everyone. A guard can stop a man who wants to live. That is what guards are for. No guard has ever been designed to stop a man who has already accepted dying. Their most famous kill is the Vizier Nizam al-Mulk in 1092, one of the most powerful administrators in the Islamic world, reportedly killed by a Fidai who approached him dressed as a Sufi mystic. The kill they are more famous for, though, is one that did not happen. The story goes that Sultan Sanjar woke one morning in his own tent with a dagger driven into the ground beside his head and a note attached. The note said, in effect, that the dagger could have been placed elsewhere. Sanjar left the Ismailis alone for decades afterward. Whether that story is true is genuinely unclear and probably unknowable. What is certain is that it circulated widely, which for Hassan was the same as being true. The word assassin comes from Hashshashin, the name outsiders gave them. The popular explanation is that it derives from hashish, the drug, and that the Fidai were doped before their missions to make them fearless. Modern scholars mostly consider this propaganda spread by their enemies because it is easier to believe a man is drugged than to believe he simply agreed. The organization ran for about 160 years. It ended when the Mongols arrived at Alamut in 1250 and took the fortress. The Mongols did not negotiate with the 12 men. That was rather the Mongol specialty. Charlotte Corday, now to Paris in July of 1793, and a woman who had never hurt anyone in her life. Marie-Anne Charlotte de Corday d'Armont is 24 years old. She is a minor aristocrat by birth, convent-educated, and by every account gentle. She is also living through the French Revolution as it eats itself. The reign of terror is beginning. The guillotine is running daily, and to Charlotte, one man is the loudest voice driving it. Jean-Paul Marat is a journalist and a radical, and he is very good at his job. His newspaper names people. Naming people, at that moment in Paris, is a death sentence. Charlotte believes, rightly or wrongly, that his ink is what fills the tumbrils. So she does the arithmetic that every person on this list eventually does. One man is causing thousands of deaths. She can end one man. She travels to Paris on the 9th of July with no accomplices and no plan for after. That last part matters. There is no escape route because she is not planning to escape. On the 13th, she buys a kitchen knife with a 6-inch blade at the Palais Royal. Then she goes to Marat's home and asks to see him, and is turned away. She goes back that evening and is turned away again. She writes him a note claiming she has names of enemies of the Republic in Normandy. For a man in Marat's business, That is an irresistible offer. He tells his household to let her in. She finds him where he spent most of his time, which is in a bathtub. Murat had a severe skin condition, possibly a form of dermatitis, and he worked from a medicinal bath with a board across it for writing. She stands beside the tub and gives him name, and he writes them down. He reportedly tells her that everyone she has named will be guillotined within days. Then she takes out the knife and drives it into his chest. It severs a major artery, and he is dead in under a minute. She does not run. She does not try to hide the knife. She stands in the room and waits, and she is arrested there. At her trial, she is entirely composed, which unsettles everyone present. Asked who trained her, she says she needed no one's help. Asked how she knew where to strike, she says she had a picture in her mind. Her stated reasoning is that she killed one man to save 100,000. She was guillotined on the 17th of July, 4 days after the killing. She was 24 years old and calm on the scaffold. The arithmetic, for what it's worth, did not work. Murat's death made him a martyr. His portrait was painted in that bathtub, and the terror accelerated. It got significantly worse, not better. She removed one man from a machine that did not require him, Ramon Mercader. The third one is the coldest, because it took him almost 3 years. Leon Trotsky is living in exile in Coyoacan, in Mexico City, and he knows he is being hunted. Stalin has been methodically killing everyone associated with him for years. Trotsky's house is a small fortress. Watchtowers, steel doors, armed guards. In May of 1940, a group of gunmen shoot up his bedroom with machine guns. They fire hundreds of rounds. Trotsky and his wife survive by lying flat on the floor. After that, security tightens further. Nobody unknown gets near him, which is why the Soviet intelligence service had already stopped trying to get someone in from outside. Their man was already inside, and had been for years, and nobody had noticed. Ramon Mercader is a Spanish communist recruited by the NKVD during the Spanish Civil War. His assignment does not begin with Trotsky. It begins with a woman. In Paris, using the name Jacques Mornard, he meets Sylvia Agurlov, an American Trotskyist activist with direct access to Trotsky's inner circle. He courts her. He is charming, attentive, and patient. The relationship runs for years. She believes it completely. Through Sylvia, he becomes a familiar face around the Coyoacan compound. He drives people places. He does small favors. The guards learn his name. He visits perhaps 10 times before he ever does anything. This is the part that separates him from the others on this list. Charlotte Corday waited 4 days. The Fidei sometimes waited years, but for a cause. Mercader spent 3 years being someone's boyfriend as a work assignment. On the 20th of August, 1940, he arrives at the house wearing a raincoat. It is a warm day in Mexico City, and nobody comments on the coat. Under it, he is carrying an ice axe, a dagger, and a pistol. He tells Trotsky he has written an article and would like his opinion. Trotsky invites him into the study and sits down at his desk to read it. Mercader stands behind him. Trotsky is bent over the page. He takes out the ice axe and brings it down on the back of Trotsky's head. And here the plan comes apart, because Trotsky does not die. He screams. He turns and fights. He reportedly bites Mercader's hand. Trotsky is 60 years old and has just been struck in the skull with an axe, and he fights hard enough that the guards get there before Mercader can finish. They begin beating him, and Trotsky, bleeding, tells them to stop. He says the man must be kept alive to talk. Trotsky dies in hospital the following day. Mercader gives a false name and a false story, and holds it for 20 years. He serves the full 20-year sentence in Mexico and never once names his employer. When he is released in 1960, he goes to Cuba and then to the Soviet Union, where he is quietly awarded the title Hero of the Soviet Union. His mother, who had helped recruit him, had already received a medal on his behalf. Gavrilo Princip. The last one is not the most skilled. He is barely skilled at all. He is on this list because of the ratio. Gavrilo Princip is 19 years old in the summer of 1948. He is a Bosnian Serb, a student, and a member of a nationalist movement called Young Bosnia. He is physically slight and has been rejected from a guerrilla unit for being too small. He has tuberculosis. He will not live to see 30. On the 28th of June, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand visits Sarajevo. 7 conspirators, including Princip, position themselves along the announced motorcade route, and what follows is one of the most incompetent operations in history. The first conspirator does nothing at all as the car passes. The second throws a bomb, which bounces off the folded roof of the car and detonates under the vehicle behind, injuring several people. He then swallows cyanide and jumps into the river. The cyanide is old and only makes him vomit. The river is 4 inches deep. He is pulled out of it and beaten by the crowd. The Archduke drives on to the town hall and delivers his speech, visibly furious. The plot has failed completely. All the conspirators disperse. Princip goes to a nearby street, reportedly to get something to eat. And then the Archduke decides to visit the wounded at the hospital. His driver is not told about the change of route. The driver takes the original turn, is told he is wrong, and stops the car to reverse. The car stalls on Franz Josef Street, about 5 feet from where Princip is standing. He steps forward and fires twice with a pistol at almost point-blank range. One round hits Franz Ferdinand in the neck. One hits his wife Sophie in the abdomen. Both are dead within the hour. Princip tries the cyanide. It fails, exactly like his colleagues. He tries to shoot himself and the pistol is taken from his hands. He was too young for the death penalty under Austro-Hungarian law by 27 days. He got 20 years instead and served them in a fortress at Terezin. He died there in April of 1918 of tuberculosis of the bone, weighing under 90 pounds. He had one arm amputated. He was 23. Between his 2 shots and his death, roughly 17 million people were killed. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Russia mobilized. Germany moved. The alliance system did what alliance systems do, and the entire continent went in. He did not live to see how it ended. He did live to hear that it was happening. 4 people, and one thing they share, which is not cruelty. None of these 4 appear to have enjoyed it. That is not what the coldness is. The arithmetic. Every one of them ran the same equation. One man's death weighed against some larger number they had decided on. Hassan weighed 1 vizier against an army he could never afford to raise. Corday weighed 1 journalist against 100,000 names she thought he would print. Mercader weighed 1 exile against whatever Moscow had told him it was worth. Princip weighed 1 archduke against a nation he thought he was freeing. And here is the thing about that arithmetic that all 4 of them missed. You can be completely correct about the man and completely wrong about the number. Corday killed the right journalist and made the terror worse. Princip killed the right symbol and got 17 million people killed for it. The problem was never whether the target deserved it. The problem is that a man is only 1 variable, and history has thousands. They all believed they were subtracting 1 thing from the world. Not one of them controlled what got added.